execute a drug dealer. Very quick trial, death penalty sentence for drug dealers.
This is really stupid. Drug dealers aren't afraid to die. They're already killing each other every day on the streets. Drive-bys, gang shootings. They're not afraid to die. Death penalty doesn't mean anything unless you use it on people who are afraid to die. Like the bankers who launder the drug money. Forget the dealers. You want to slow down that drug traffic, you got to start executing a few of these bankers. White, middle-class, Republican bankers. And I'll guarantee you one thing. You start nailing one white banker per week to a big wooden cross on national TV, you're going to see that drug traffic begin to slow down pretty quick. Pretty quick. You won't even be able to buy drugs in schools and prisons anymore.
Hey you. Welcome. This is Rob, and today I'll be talking about one of my favorite comedians, the one and only George Carlin. Stay till end because I have 5 facts for you not many know about him. George Carlin, a man whose wit was as sharp as a chef's knife in a comedy kitchen. Born on May 12, 1937, in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, George came into this world armed with a sense of humor that could crack even the toughest nuts. Now, picture a young George, probably making wisecracks in the schoolyard instead of focusing on math, because, let's be honest, who needs calculus when you've got punchlines to deliver? Fast forward a bit, and he starts his comedy career in the beatnik coffeehouses of the 1960s, where he probably got more snaps than a beat poet on a caffeine high.
Somewhere to clubs to work out. I have to figure this out. There were no comedy clubs. There were only coffee houses. Coffee houses had hootenannies. Hootenannies were once a week when the coffee house didn't have its usual folk singer or two, and they had an open mic, as it were, amateur night. But people who were somewhat accomplished, people with a leg up professionally. And I started doing that. I did 2 of those, and an owner of a club saw me and he says, "I want you over in the Cafe Au Go-Go." I spent 2 years there, working.
But let's not forget he loved talking to people. George Carlin was like a linguistic acrobat, flipping words and ideas with the finesse of a seasoned circus performer. From the 7 dirty words you can't say on television to dissecting the absurdities of everyday life, Carlin was the stand-up philosopher we didn't know we needed. As he navigated the turbulent waters of the entertainment industry, George managed to stay true to himself. He was unapologetically candid, making us laugh not just at his jokes but at the undeniable truths he laid bare. It's like he had a backstage pass to the universe and was sharing all the juicy details with a sly grin.
In its own power, that's the only thing, keeping it and expanding it wherever possible. Personally, when it comes to rights, I think one of 2 things is true. I think either we have unlimited rights or we have no rights at all. Personally, I lean toward unlimited rights. I feel, for instance, I have the right to do anything I please. But if I do something you don't like, I think you have the right to kill me. So where are you going to find a fairer fucking deal than that? So the next time some asshole says, "Gee, I have a right to my opinion," you say, "Oh yeah? Well, I have a right to my opinion, and my opinion is you have no right to your opinion." Then shoot the fuck and walk away.
Now, here's the bittersweet part. The man who made us laugh until our sides hurt left this world on June 22, 2008. He bid farewell to the stage, leaving behind a legacy that echoes in the laughter of every aspiring comedian and the thoughts of anyone daring to question the status quo. Well, as promised, on to the 5 facts many don't know about him. 1. Did you know that before George Carlin ventured into stand-up comedy, he actually started his career as a radio DJ and even worked as a disc jockey under the stage name?
Working sometimes 2 nights a week, sometimes 1, sometimes a week, sometimes a month off, sometimes 3 weeks off, sometimes 4 weeks in a row, sometimes opening for somebody, sometimes being the only person, sometimes getting $5, sometimes getting just a hamburger, sometimes getting $50, sometimes getting $100 for 2 nights on the weekend because I was opening for someone. And
Zip? Imagine turning the radio dial and stumbling upon the comedic musings of DJ Zip, Now that's a hidden gem of Carlin's early days. 2. George Carlin wasn't just a master of words, he had a brief stint as an actor. In the 1960s, he appeared in a few sitcoms and even landed a role in a film titled, "With Six You Get Egg Roll." It turns out, Carlin wasn't just making us laugh with words. He was also flexing his acting chops on the side. 3. Carlin was a linguistics enthusiast, and it reflected not only in his comedy but also in his personal interests. He had a deep fascination with words and language, so much so that he co-authored a book titled Brain Droppings, showcasing his unique perspective on life and language outside the realm of stand-up. 4. George Carlin wasn't just a critic of societal norms, he was also a space enthusiast. He was a fan of astronomy and even voiced the character Fillmore, the hippie VW van, in the animated movie, Cars. Who would have thought the guy who dissected human absurdities was also sending his comedic vibes to the cosmos? 5. In a surprising turn of events, Carlin was once arrested for a performance. In 1972, he was taken into custody after a gig at Milwaukee's Summerfest for violating obscenity laws. It wasn't the only time he pushed boundaries, but this arrest became a testament to his fearless approach in challenging societal taboos through humor. Talk about a comedian taking risks both on and off the stage. George Carlin wasn't just a comedian, he was a wordsmith, a rebel, and a mirror reflecting the absurdity of our existence. So, here's to the man who made us laugh, think, and occasionally snort in public places, George. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoy learning about comedians, check out my video on Cat Williams. Also, if you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and share. Remember, I love you. Thank you.
As soon as they close the door to the aircraft, that's when they begin the safety lecture. I love the safety lecture. This is my favorite part of the plane ride. I listen very carefully to the safety lecture, especially that part where they teach us how to use the seat belt.